Hello friends, I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope everything is good and great and wonderful. Everything here is pretty dandy. I've been working on the house again and having a good time about it. Now, recently, like last week or something, I did a video that explaining why I don't have voicemail on my phone. Talked about how I've always had a cell phone, I've never had a home phone, and I have my voicemail disconnected. And I talked about how I don't like feeling beholden to somebody because they left me a voicemail. And from that video, I got some interesting responses, and one of you responded in private, sent me this email, and we kind of had a little discussion about why I feel beholden if somebody leaves me a voicemail. And so I wanted to kind of follow up a little bit on that, but also talk about the rest of that conversation, because here's the way that I think voicemail works. If I give you the opportunity to leave me a voicemail, if you call my phone and I don't answer, and then you get this message that says, "Hey, it's Chevy, leave me a message," that implies that I'm going to listen to your message. So if you leave me a message, your expectation is that I'm going to listen to that message. And maybe your further expectation is that I will respond to that message. And in my experience, the way that I handle voicemail is I never listen to it, ever. If somebody calls me and I don't answer the phone, it's for a reason I didn't answer the phone. And I see that they called me. So if I want to talk to them, I'll call them back. I don't want to listen to whatever they had to say in the past. I want to listen to what they have to say now. So if you leave me a voicemail that says something, like, "Hey, I need you, you need to call me as soon as you can," and I don't listen to that for a couple of days, that voicemail has failed its purpose in life, and I have not met the expectation. And so, to me, and again, this is me kind of projecting my inner thoughts on how voicemail works onto other persons, and maybe that's wrong. But to me, if I leave a voicemail, my expectation is that I'm going to receive a response to that. That being said, I don't leave voicemails unless I'm calling somebody in a professional capacity, because I don't expect anybody to return my phone call. So, am I just kind of passing on these expectations of my own onto the person that has the opportunity to leave me a voicemail? I don't know. But I like the idea of people knowing that I don't listen to voicemails. And so if you can't leave me one, then I'm not going to listen to it. And that was my thinking for why I turned off my voicemail. Now, that brought up an interesting discussion about the 5 whys. And this is a method I'd never heard of before. And the 5 whys, according to Wikipedia, is an iterative interrogative technique used to explore the cause and effects relationships underlying a particular problem. The primary goal of the technique is to determine the root cause of a defect or problem by repeating the question why. So why don't I have voicemail on my phone? Because I don't want to feel like I owe somebody a return message. Why do I feel that way? Or, well, I guess that is the only really logical question. The only logical why from there is, why do I feel that way? Because when I don't listen to voicemail, I get feedback from some people that well, I left you a voicemail. Well, I didn't listen. I'm not going to ever listen to that, So, to go through the 5 whys, the idea is that it's not necessarily a rigid 5 whys that you walk down this chain. The idea is more like you ask the question why until you get to the root cause. And I know what the root cause is in my situation, and it happens to be a few people who feel like I'm beholden to them to return their phone calls if they leave me a voicemail. And I'm not here to shame people, but I don't listen to them. I've never listened to voicemails. I just do. That's not something that I want to do. Whatever it is you had to say, it wasn't important enough for me to answer the phone. So why would I want to listen to whatever it was later? I'll call you later, or we'll talk in person, or whatever it might be. But the 5 why process, I like it. It seems really interesting. And the Wikipedia article, I'll link it in the description below, kind of has this long example or this rules for performing this sort of 5 why analysis, but it sets it in a very business-like setting. And I don't know that this is really a good tool for a business. I mean, I guess it could be if you're in a planning stage of your business, but if you're trying to explore the root cause of a business problem that you're experiencing, then I don't know if this is going to help. I'm not a business person. I'm not a business major. So maybe this is a business major thing. Maybe that's why this article is listed this way, and that might be why I've never heard of it. But there's some simple rules in here that I think are really important to understand. Like, it wants you to write it down. Writing it down is a much better way of connecting dots than putting it on a computer somewhere. There are apps now, like OneNote, for instance, where you can have these kind of like disjointed blocks that you can move around and will maintain relationships. But typically, it just says write it down and make sure that everybody understands it. Distinguish causes from symptoms. That's an important thing whenever you're analyzing anything, I think. But in this particular situation, like in the beginning, I said, why do I feel beholden that people leave me emails? That is probably a symptom, not a cause, right? So that's my symptom. I feel that way. Is there a cause for that? Yes, there is a cause for that. The cause is because people have made me feel that way by saying, I left you a voicemail, why didn't you call me back? Well, I didn't listen. I'm never going to listen. Don't leave me voicemails. It's that simple. So, I'll link this in the article or in the description below. And I would love to hear if you've ever heard of this 5 whys technique. Is it like more of a business-oriented technique, or is this something that you can use in your personal life to make things better? Let me know. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow. The word of the day today is adulatory. It's an adjective meaning complimentary or giving of effusive praise. He includes his final chapter, a passage of adulatory prose from Henry James. Joyce Carol Oates, an American author. Adulatory, A-D-U-L-A-T-O-R-Y.